Hey guys, it's Glizzy here, and in today's Marvel's The Avengers video, I wanted to discuss Mega Hives and is the loot worth the grind. So first, let's go over what are Mega Hives. So Mega Hives are the brand new activity brought to the game, and you need to be at least power level 140 to attempt this activity. So what it is 8 gauntlets broke up into 5 floors each, so there's around 40 floors that you'll have to complete this Mega Hive type of game mode. So it's basically just the other hives, but it's much larger and there's no going down. So for each down that you have, that means you're going to be completely losing this character. So the more characters you have at level 140, that means the more characters you'll be able to play with if one of them goes down. So this weekend I was able to complete my first Mega Hive, and I ended up completing it on easy difficulty. I tried to play through it on normal difficulty, but I ended up coming across some issues when I was getting to the end of the hives and just going down for the one time and losing all of my characters. So it was a difficult task. So they did hit it right on the head with difficulty. It's a hard end game activity, and I love that they hit it on that nail point. But I mean, the loot was not worth it at all. For each of the floors that you go through, there's going to be a total of 40 floors, and it's going to be broken up into 8 gauntlets. So for each gauntlet that you actually complete, you're going to be awarded 100 fragments and 1 upgrade module, which is nowhere near enough loot for completing these extremely hard floors. It's not that they're super hard to complete, it's more or less you just can't go down at all during these floors, so you're on the edge of your seat the entire time you're completing this activity. And I mean, it should be rewarded a little bit more than 100 fragments and 1 upgrade module. I just made a video about how to get upgrade modules, and we were able to get a ton of upgrade modules in a very short amount of time, so this just doesn't pay out for how difficult it actually is. So after completing all 8 gauntlets, you'll get a chance at getting an exotic, and it's a very small chance of getting an exotic. I've heard of people completing it at challenge 4 and getting no type of exotic to drop, but others completing it at challenge 2 and getting an exotic to drop. So here on screen are all of the exotic sets, and for the Mega Hive we have 4 pieces of gear that we need to collect to complete an exotic set. And at this rate, it's going to be taking people around 4 to 8 weeks to complete one character's exotic set of gear. That is just far too long for completing a set of gear. It should be somewhere around 2 to 3 weeks. I can even give 4 weeks to complete each set of gear, meaning you get a exotic piece every single week from the activity. But right now at this rate, it's just going to take forever to complete a set of exotic gear for your specific character, and that's just something I don't like to see. I mean, grinding for 8 weeks on one character, it's just going to get so boring and it's going to get very stale, making the Mega Hives a stale type of game mode. We're going to need to see some type of buff to the loot so we can get exotics at a much faster rate. At least 1 exotic for completing a Mega Hive would be reasonable. It doesn't have to be something super extreme, but for each completion we should at least be seeing 1 exotic drop. So at least for your first completion of the Mega Hive, you're going to be getting 50 polycoron and you're going to be getting 50 upgrade modules, so you're going to be getting some pretty good resources for completing it your first time. But I mean, they need to completely get rid of only being able to do it one time every weekend and just let us farm this activity out so we can get these exotic sets. So if they're not going to be buffing the drop rate to these exotics, then at least just let us farm this activity so we can play it as much as possible to get as many chances at getting an exotic piece of gear. Right now exotics are just so scarce in the game and they just don't drop from anywhere, so just make this the activity where we get exotics. Since it is a really big time investment to complete this activity, it's going to take you somewhere around an hour to 2 hours to complete this activity, so at least reward us well so we can go back into it and just want to keep farming it out for those exotic pieces of gear. So right now, the state that the Mega Hives are in, I do not think that it's worth the grind for the loot that you're going to get at the end. Having to put in around an hour to 2 hours into this activity for you to not get an exotic at the end or even a piece of gear that competes with the piece you have equipped, there's just something going wrong there, and they have to change the way the loot system's going to work for this end game activity. This is supposed to be the pinnacle end game activity. This is where you go in with all of your 140 heroes and you just knock out all of these floors. You're supposed to be rewarded well, and you're just not rewarded for your time. So right now I would hold off onto this activity until we get some type of update for it. So if you are right now trying to complete it and you're having a hard time, do not stress yourself out. Eventually they're going to be updated updating the loot system, and then it'll be worth the grind then. So for right now, just gear up as many characters as possible so you are ready for when that update comes through and we are able to obtain some really epic gear from this activity. But yeah guys, that's gonna do it for me in this Marvel's The Avengers video. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to let me know by slamming that thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I've been your boy T Glizzy. You guys have been my awesome viewers, and I'll see you guys in another. Peace.